really, yes, they care, but like it's not going to directly affect them. They won't directly be working with these appointments. So I think like we talk a lot about like really physical and emotional labor, and I think just the time spent being in this room, being part of these conversations and investing in these appointments is really some of the biggest recognition. Nathan and Michaela are two folks that I've watched work from the beginning of our time at UCLA, and two leaders that I respect very deeply, and I'm really sad to see leaving the board, but I know it's in the hands of phenomenal people like Kevin and like Robbie, who I just could not say any more highly things about these people. So I just wanted to publicly acknowledge like their time and them being here, because they were the only people that aren't us that are in this room. So thank you for you. And if you don't know them, they're wonderful, and you should get to know a scary amount about USAC and its UCLA. So. Yeah.
So we're good.
Is it possible for us to get our gender pronouns on our name, please, or is that the why?
I'm gonna question, I think that's a Jessica question, if they've already been ordered.
No, we don't. Okay, we can look at that, that's something we want. It's basically just whatever fits on the, so it might be on offer.
I would definitely be in support of that. That's something we want to be.
On the agenda
For next time.
You said that to me, and that might be even.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're back from USAC Live. Jay, really quickly, so really quickly, and I would like to highly suggest that we do the show because it is really good.
Yeah, my glucose levels are pretty low right now. But I guess besides that, I've known Aiden through a number of different spaces as his fellowship director in Paul, as his RA, and like as a colleague within the EVP office. I admire his like ability to like set policy and to understand like legislation and like different things. I guess my only point of concern is that truly when I think of an appointment, especially an appointment of this size, as an appointment with such an immense platform to challenge the institution, to provide a unique perspective as someone who has maybe done work outside the institution, who has that clear vision as to what they want to change and how their personal identities manifest in that vision to make this better, to create change, to create radical change, etc. I just like, and someone can chime in if this is misguided, but when I think of an appointment, I think of perhaps giving someone who hasn't had the access previously, to have the space, to have a position that, like has this amount as a stipend. And I'm not basing it just on a stipend, I'm just saying, like that is one of the things I'm considering. Also, like, it's just platform, right? It's like one thing that I think about is how can we extend this access to those people who may not have had the opportunity, the good fortune to have held positions of leadership in the past. Right? And like, because I do believe that this appointment has an immense platform, but I also do believe that this appointment can also serve as a learning experience, especially for those folks who may bring that perspective from working outside the institution and then translating that now working within it, or to, and so I think that's just my only point of personal concern is like, I love him, I do think he's a fantastic candidate, but it's just like, I don't know, I just keep thinking of like, what I'm saying, like, is there a student out there who may have never been given the chance, who, to do something like this, but who would be as passionate, as willing, and have a vision as well, So I guess that's just my only thought.
I think that just begs the question is that our position right now, and we need to be doing right now, is so disrespectful, like I said earlier, I think there's no one right fit would be for any of the running consoles or whatever, but I think that if we don't move ahead with this appointment, then we run into the issue of not having anyone.
I do think it's something that we have to work on now,
yeah.
Because I do think maybe, and forgive me, clear, but I think that's maybe some vision that your appointment structure should have had. How can we extend access to folks who have been traditionally relegated? You know what I'm saying? So if I'm bringing this up, it's because it's something that I personally believe we must recommend now, because like maybe your appointment structures didn't do that. And I don't need to discredit the work that we've done, But I do think that like when FSC makes some appointments, obviously not as large scale as this, but like the folks who were, you know, like are with me and deciding who's going to be appointed to our whatever, you know, like positions, that's one thing that we've been using as a guiding factor, as how can we extend access to those who may not have held positions like this in the past.
Bethany?
I want to thank you for pointing that out, and I believe that is however, I want to ask you in the University Council, is this a question we should be asking now? I mean, the presenters have been approved by ARC and gone through the process. This is definitely something that needs to be considered, and definitely moving forward. And like, unfortunately, like Rich and I can really thinking this is something that should have been like I agree should have been considered, but I don't know if in this moment as you say here, this is something we can consider, and would that be fair? It's the question.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like, it should be a decision of like Aiden. Since like he's been before us. And I think that we as council should, those of us who have still made appointments, they should just yield your concern.
Okay, it's a question, so I'd love to hear from everyone, that we raise the sentiment, but
I would also just say it's important to know that like it is really hard to reach a large amount of people when the app was only able to be open for like a week before the interviews were happening, and that's just like a really unfortunate circumstance that we got put in. And I do think that there could have been more done to increase that outreach, and that 100% should be the way that the appointments are being done in the future. But I don't see a way with everything that was going on where like it could have been done perfectly this round with this. And I don't want to punish who has been put up because of that fact.
Just as I heard for a while, I just really wanted to say something, so that's gonna be Serena.
Okay. Just two quick things. I think the first thing, since Aiden has been here for so long, he's the last person here, I want to be fair to his time. And with that, I want to bring up that I think you bring up a really good concern because you have worked with him, and I think previous experience in a different environment definitely should be considered. I guess the question for you and the rest of council is Aiden would be coming in as the alternate, so I don't know if that would like help transition him. On top of that, I think Jay brings up a great point that I don't want to dismiss, but I agree with what Bethany says, which I think this is a bigger discussion, and it's something that I ran as transfer student rep, is the lack of access to these appointments just by the way the bylaws are created. And I don't feel like you should not be able to bring up this concern, because I do think it's a concern. I just don't know if discussing it through Aiden's is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is the conversation. I think like Jamie and I just have like very conflicting experiences. So like academic senate deals with policy, which is one of the very things that like she raises before. And I personally, and I think that's the other thing as well, is that like if because he's a first year, because he's so like well, like I guess spread out, maybe that could contribute to it, but like they're just like so multiple. And coming from a commission or coming from being in the commissioner's like position, like I need to be able to have that policy change that are like made, or even just like being up to date as a commissioner. Why? Because I have to pay attention. And so that's just my whole thing. And yeah, but I mean, obviously there's a state where he's in my life, and I know that my successor has like celebrated him a tremendous deal. So this isn't like this is for me bringing it up as a full perspective. I think more so than like me attacking him, because that is not my intention.
I just want to make sure you're not insinuating that I'm attacking him, are you?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's
No,
okay.
not
Okay.
being really vocal in regards to like a
Okay.
report, and that's not necessarily in his favor, but that's not me.
All right.
And I want to be clear to that.
Can I just say one thing briefly, if I may?
Yeah.
Apologies for interjecting, but I think I might have to clear this. The reason why we didn't get the report is because they were sent directly to the interior because they were confidential. Since you're now the new.
No. So that's the thing. So with respect to you, I contacted Jared to ask if we got those reports in 87. So that's the thing. So it's not me, like, oh, you didn't send it to me.
Okay.
When you were on the Senate, I was the secretary of welfare meeting with Dave, on the academic development committee, and then also with the library and my office of instructional technology. So like our fields would be different. That's, it's not that it was important to me, it's the fact that there's a point person that said he did too, and they did.
Can we go back to Sabrina speak, because she's been wanting to speak for a while, and then, again, I would strongly recommend that we move to a motion on the table, because it is really 1 AM. And I think that we can have this conversation for a long time, if we don't at some point move forward. Sabrina.
So one of my concerns is just in that, like, so if you think about this, aiding is kind of in CAP, kind of an EDP, kind of an AAC. Yeah, but like all of these things are things that he did this year, and he was, I understand that like, you're addressing it in a way that's like, I'm gonna take this knowledge and go with it, because he was so quick to like change the way he was committing to these spaces for this other position. And as I understand that it's a way for you to gain knowledge, but I don't think it's sustainable for the offices. Like, it's not a sustainable way of like communicating knowledge in the offices. And that's something I really hold near and dear, is because I would not sit in this seat right now if it wasn't for people in CAC staying there and teaching me the problems that were in CAC. So I think that it's important to respect the spaces that have lifted you by staying there for a while so that you can teach the people coming in. And so that's kind of why I have this like weariness of you taking this position, just because I don't know how you're gonna continue to contribute to the spaces that like lifted you up to give you these qualifications in the first place.
I also don't believe that it's outside of our jurisdiction to consider, like my point, when we think about these appointments. And I say this respectfully because I do believe that if us as individuals personally believe that the appointments directors, and again, no shade, I'm just like saying, if someone were to personally believe that, then we do have that final say before we appoint someone, decide not to appoint someone, or relay what we wish to see in appointments and like people who will be appointed. So I respectfully do not believe it's outside of our jurisdiction to express these desires, even if that means like not appointing someone.
Going forward, I may be going to right now that will be a conversation I'll have with my appointment instructors, because I do believe that it is something that should be intentionally discussed in conversation. Again, I want to apologize for the time crunch that we were on and the impact that may have had on the outreach. However, I don't believe it's fair or right, as the mayor has said, to penalize Aiden for that. And I hope that this vote is not taken as a reflection of me or my appointment instructors, but is taken as a reflection of Aiden. And I hope that you can trust in the months that I've spent thinking about this appointment, that I did so with the utmost intentionality as did my team, and that as student leaders, if we can't recognize our shortcomings and how we can improve, then what can we do, right? So this is me recognizing my shortcomings, being willing to improve and being willing to so moving forward. But as I've been very vocal about in recent weeks, I don't think we can always necessarily make this change retroactively, and I don't want to penalize those folks that I feel, my appointments team feels, the current board directors feels, are the most deserving.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think that it's very fault, because you also met with me and asked me for some, not advice, but I guess, guidance or questions that you gave on different things that I've sat on. So I do acknowledge the fact and can credit your research at this timeline. And I think all things being equal, I understand why folks would be inclined we'll be inclined to appointments, moving forward before art and everything, and I will definitely do that. So I don't think that for all the research and for what's been presented to us, I don't think that it was misplaced in if that makes sense.
You say what you just said again, sorry.
So I feel like for what's been presented to you all, it makes sense that you use it. And it wasn't until like, and I actually initially didn't have any apprehension like stuff. So I just want that to be clear. And I've also seen pretty I've seen them within my community as well, specifically African community. So I can, so that's anyway, it's just for me, my reservations are my reservations, and I just don't. It's not like I'm like proud to say this, because I feel like even if someone who's been supportive of me and someone that I genuinely support, and then, yeah.
George, too.
I was just wondering if I can get a motion.
Please.
I motion to vote for Aiden as alternate AC slate.
Okay, there's a motion for a second. Aisha, thank you. All right, we're gonna move into a vocal roll call, IVP.
Can I wait until
I don't think that is something that's by law.
If we already.
I know we did it last time, but I don't know if I want to continue moving forward without precedent. Dr. Garlick, can you chime in at all on that? I don't love the idea of not going in roll call order. And I apologize for doing so last time.
Yeah, I don't know that it's actually stated in any of your documents. It may be informed by Robert's rules generally speaking, but there have also been votes where it's been all in favor, raise your hand, and everyone votes at once and you go around and count. So, since you did it earlier, it seems reasonable, at least for today, to continue in the practice that you said earlier today.
Okay, let's do it today, then moving forward. I just think like the precedent of waiting to see how other people vote.
Oh, that's
Before you
fine,
vote?
anytime.
Oh, okay.
Mine,
Yeah.
20% today,
Yeah.
also.
Okay, then I'm sorry to misinterpret.
I'm pretty strong on that.
Okay, so we have EVP?
Yes.
Governor one,
Yes.
Governor two,
Yes.
Governor three?
Yes.
AC,
No.
CEC,
Yes.
DSC,
Yes.
CAP?
No.
BAP,
Yes.
FSC,
Respectfully abstain.
SWC,
Yes.
TSR,
Yes.
IVP?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so by a vote of 6, 17, 10 to 1 to 2, or 10 to 1, which were you doing? I said last 10 to 1, sorry. 10 to 1, the motion passes, and Aiden is approved as an appointed bench board member. So please go home and get some rest. I love it. So like that. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna strike the whole discussion item today, but let's just really quick hash out summer meetings. So first, forum. We can do 8, 9, or 10. Is there a motion on the table? 3.
A motion to 8.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So we done motion, couple seconds, okay, and let's just do a roll call again, IVP. PDP, Dr. 1, 2. Bella,
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Dr. 3, AC,
Yes.
CEC, CSC, CAP, BAC,
Yes.
MSC,
Yes.
SUC, TSR, or by a vote of 13 to 0, our summer forum will be 8. Wonderful. Okay, next one. Do we want to keep a meeting? Do we want to move forward with bi-weekly? Every Tuesday at the same time?
Okay.
Bethany.
Again, I'm saying this, and I'm just getting corrected, but CPC and CAC, when it doesn't meet bi-weekly, that means the hearing is gonna be like, in my opinion, a bit too late. Yeah. I mean, if anything, we have like a big one in the modem.
Yes,
So we do that, those equipments, and then we, and then we'll do bi-weekly. I don't want to do that.
Okay,
Can you add, if that's what you're doing, can you add like some input as to how that would work?
As to repeat what the
No, she was like, I can tell you what I said again.
Yeah. I heard you suggest that meetings be every week at least, no?
No, bi-weekly, but the call for emergency meetings, for instance, we wanted to do.
Okay, so, the president can call a special meeting. We wouldn't call it an emergency, it would be a special meeting, anytime that it's needed. But you're going to follow the same standard procedures as for a regular meeting. Meaning, if the special meeting is going to be on a Tuesday that you don't have one set, that you, it's called by Wednesday, so that the agenda items get to Robert by 5 o'clock Thursday, so that agenda comes out by 5 o'clock Friday for that following Tuesday. So yes, you could set a schedule of every other, and then even at a given Tuesday, if you know there's something that has to happen next week, the president could call that meeting for the following week. It's not a vote issue, it's the president simply calling it under their prerogative.
There's a fast follow-up question for you all. This is like towards ARC. Do you think it would be feasible to be able to like meet with the respective like candidates or like the people close to PC and Stacy within the next week? Because if it's not like physically time-wise feasible, but we should set the meeting.
It's feasible. We already decided us three that we were willing to do virtual. Because I'm going back home tomorrow morning. So I know Aisha is too. Jeff, but we're all willing to do virtual.
I would like to potentially, maybe think about either calling a meeting instead of next Tuesday, at the end of next week, or the 19th, just because my appointments directors do need to kind of shift our focus now onto those appointments, and they're still in finals. I'm gonna be out of the country for a few days, from Friday to Wednesday. So I don't know how feasible it would be to get it done by next Tuesday, to be completely honest with you. So I would personally prefer to just say it's all gonna be done by the 19th, we're gonna be ready to go on the 19th, so that way we can stick with some degree of regularity. We can give council members, appointment directors a couple days after finals to breathe, because we are students, and then we can have those appointments ready to go on the agenda and hopefully make them on June 19th. Does that sound okay to you? Huh? June 19th is a Tuesday, so it's 2 weeks from now. Yeah.
But wait, that's 26.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? Oh my gosh, sorry, the 26th then. Oh, it's a little bit late.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sorry.
then what about, okay, I can call a meeting when it gets closer, but I'm open to the idea of Friday, June 22nd if needed. Or Thursday, June 21st, I'll be back.
Yeah, don't chance Friday also, just because I'm really scared we might not get applications then.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we think the 26th might be pushing a little bit. Okay, so we can call a special meeting just for those 2 appointments, that's fine, and then the meeting on the 26th then will be when we'll be making like SHAC back for ones that need to be done by the end of June, but not quite as time sensitive. Okay.
Also, so,
Okay. Yeah,
oh wait, that's right. Okay, so on 26th, we'll be meeting at 7 on Tuesday.
yeah, so I'm in favor personally, but again, feel free to jump in, just based on what we discussed last week, of maybe going with bi-weekly, starting on the 26th, Tuesday at the same time, just for consistency's sake. And then with the caveat that we will call a special meeting before the 26th, Bethany, for those appointments, once I am back in the country, my appointment directors and have time to interview, finals are over the whole thing. So, how are y'all feeling about that? It just sounded like a consensus last week. Okay, so do we have a motion for bi-weekly meetings beginning on 26th? Aisha,
I wish to call for bi-weekly meetings beginning 26th this summer.
okay. Aisha, bi-weekly, secondly, okay, 26th. Okay, vote roll call real quick. IDPs, EDPs, Jennifer 1, Sarah 2, Sarah 3, AC. Zero.
Yes.
CC, CSE, CAC, DOT, FSE,
Yes.
SBC,
Yes.
TSR. Yes. Great, okay, so we're 0 this motion passed, we will be meeting bi-weekly, Tuesday at 7 p.m., beginning on the 26th of June.
Question about the, do we have to motion for the special meeting?
The special meeting can be called by the president at any time, as long as you give the 3 days for getting the agenda together. It doesn't take a motion, doesn't take a vote.
Awesome, okay, I will do that.
No, yeah.
We'll do that, so, and you will figure out what time, I'll send out like a doodle or something about like the 20th or the 22nd, about when would be better for everybody. Cool. So the last thing to be so quick is just if there's a motion to approve some sort of protocol guidelines, and I think we looked over the ones from last year. Do you want me to just read them super quickly and we can decide? Okay, it was sent to the official utility, okay. So the guidelines were, the Undergraduate Students Association will allow members to video conference into its council meetings between the spring and fall quarter for the following circumstances. A, council members that are video conferencing in are unable to be physically present at meetings. B, the chair of each summer meeting of the USAC should be in physical attendance and program 417 about the duration of each meeting. It will be. C, video conferencing will be done using Google Hangouts, a free video conferencing and live stream service in order to make the live feed of the meeting available to students. We'll just add Google Hangouts/Zoom. The USAC live stream will contain video of the physical attendees that program 417 as well as those joining the meeting remotely. A projection of video conference should be maintained at the front of the room if possible. In the event that projector malfunctioning, the necessity to utilize the projector for the purpose. An additional computer with the video conference should remain visible to the IVP or next in line in order to be monitored throughout the meeting. Video conference should remain connected to the amplified sound of the meeting in order to ensure that voices of remote council members are heard. Noise level should be low for all members who participate remotely. During the video call, members joining the meeting through video conference will not block the camera on video. Sound should be muted when not speaking. The IVP or next in line should constantly check the devices in the meeting to make sure all remote participants have equal opportunity to speak. Members joining the meeting remotely will be considered full voting members. Their attendance will be counted towards the quorum. The chair should take vote for roll call first, both signing and deciding out of each meeting. The IVP or next in line will keep record of attendance. Attendance will only be counted for those who are present in both signing and signing out roll calls. In the case of malfunctioning technology, which a member is unable to join the meeting remotely or loses connection partway through, this member will be considered absent or presence will not be counted towards quorum. Members of video conferencing will be allowed an absence of 10 minutes before being considered absent. In order to be counted towards quorum, members must be present for the last 20 minutes of the meeting. The IVP or next will be responsible for handling technological issues. During voting, the chair will ask each member for their vote, following the order of the sign-in sheet. Each member should speak out yes, no, or abstain. House members who are participating remotely should raise their hands when they want to speak. The IVP or next will monitor video. And the USAC reserves the right to change or suspend these guidelines with the majority vote of the council. Does that look good? Yes.
I'm so sorry to usually be that person, but okay, I live in Ghana, we have frequent power outages, so sometimes I would just not have power.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's gonna work. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. So, do we want to just go ahead and approve these? We'll add a change about Zoom/Google Hangouts in there, with the understanding that technological malfunctions, et cetera, may occur, and that will be by no means like fault you from that. It's just you will be counted towards quorum of leaving people, and obviously that happens. So who knows what's going to happen out in China? Yeah,
I'd like to suggest that you enact these tonight so that for your next meeting, you have a way for people to participate remotely. And then try it, see how it works. You can always make adjustments in a future meeting. If the first time you meet using it, you see shortfalls and you come up with better ideas.
Okay, is there a motion or something? George?
I motion to approve last year's guidelines and replace them with this year.
Great, is there a second?
A second.
Sorry, Jessica?
Yes.
Real quick overall, I'm sorry, IDP?
Yes.
EVP? Number 1? Yes. Number 2? Yes. 3? AC? CC? CFC?
Cal, Matt, Betsy,
Yes.
Tracy, PSR, yes. My motion 32-0, motion passes, motion to approve.
Real quick, is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion
Julia, yeah, real quick slide, I'm so sorry.